In this video, we're going to talk about CCIV and the recent stock development. In the latest stock movement, CCIV share price increased to around $24, which is a 16% increase compared to the recent price movements. This price breakout is significant for two layers of reasons. First of all, it's an important increase, especially in the current environment. In fact, we need to consider this price jump as a change compared to the general environment. When we look at the recent stock prices of EV companies, many of them, for different reasons, have at least put a pause on their price corrections. This has been the case for Tesla, NIO, and now Lucid. Of course, that doesn't mean that the market is willing to go all in on EV companies like it was the case about a year ago. But hey, an uptick is an uptick. And it definitely plays a part in giving more confidence to the investors. The second reason to explain this phenomenon is the possibility of collaboration between Apple and Lucid. Apple has already expressed numerous times its desire to eventually get involved in the auto industry and even had a botched Apple car prototype a few years ago. I believe that overall, the most significant factor is the investors' possible change of attitude towards the EV sector after a few months of sell-off. I mean, yes, sure, the news about the collaboration is important, but I don't know if you guys remember about what happened with NIO in some of its news announcements. There were times when their delivery numbers would break new records, but the stock may continue to sell off. And that is because the investors who buy and sell shares in such large quantities that their actions may move the stock prices often have a tendency to consider an entire sector, not just focusing on the fundamentals of one single company. And when you see the entire sector stop getting hammered on a daily basis, this often means that by different degrees, these stock prices will eventually rise back up. By this point, some of you may wonder, why don't I often talk about the company's technical specifics? Like, the company makes great cars. Why doesn't it seem to matter that much in my analysis videos? And that's because those aspects have already been priced in the shares by now. And that the stock price is moved by other things, like the Fed interest rate, the market's attitude towards EV cars, how's Tesla doing, and so on. We already know that Lucid is in the high-end EV cars. That's why it's currently sitting with billions of valuation. But going forward, I would caution against a few aspects. First of all, I think that this collaboration with Apple may be more fluff than substance. It would be more substantial if they managed to use this relationship to secure the help from Apple's suppliers, like Foxconn, which is the case for Lucid's competitor Fisker. I think that at some point, Lucid is going to want to develop their own software and manage the data flows from drivers themselves. Because this is another one of those gold mines coming from the next generation vehicles. The biggest effect coming from this announcement is already accomplished, in my opinion. And that is to get the stock price up and break away from the slug of the past few months. As far as investors are concerned, I believe that we should at least wait for a few days to see if the price can maintain itself at this level before diving in again. From a purely price action perspective, the downward trend hasn't really finished. Now, regarding whether you should buy the stock, I would say that it really depends on your approach. If you're in the long run, I would recommend you to consider buying now. If you're in for the short-term speculation, then that timing has probably already passed. Like when they open new factories and have new models. But there's a significant amount of risk in playing in those news announcements in the current market conditions. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.